Games and how it links into it. But I thought it was worthwhile having a look at this piece of the Girl Guides mural. What I've discovered when I picked it up is that it's actually a waterproof masonite that 11 out of the 12 are made of, which gives me and the Caboolture Historical Village, who have taken on the job of restoring it and putting it on display, certain problems. But I brought this along to give Don an idea of just physically how it was made. Now, one of the people's names who was mentioned earlier was Bob Minnikin. And Bob Minnikin, who drove the Commonwealth Games to a successful outcome, is one of the most understated people in my recollection, who was not recognised in the history of Queensland. And I'll bet any money, Don, that you probably don't know the name Bob Minnikin, almost inevitably.
Well, I only know it to the extent that you mentioned it to me and a recollection that he existed.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah,
because, you know, the CEO of the Commonwealth Games, there's no reflection upon you.
No.
It's just a simple reflection of the low
profile.
But, you know, Saleo Hillshoe speaks incredibly highly. Sir Frank Moore speaks incredibly highly. And this YouTube will again speak incredibly highly of the man Bob Minnikin, who is related to Steve Minnikin.
Right.
How's that?
That's close. If I can just observe that there are people out there called quiet achievers, and there's other more noisy achievers. But in politics, you can't be a Bob Minnikin because you've got to be recognised as doing something. So there's a totally different atmospherics that prevail, but there are a lot of people out there who really are hardly known, who we couldn't have lived without.
And Bob Minnikin is one of those, because as in the thread of all this narrative, you know, we wouldn't have got the World Expo 88 without the track record of a successful Commonwealth Games. Yep. Yeah. Which, you know, I've credited fully to Clem Jones, which I think is due and justified. And then he goes on to help Sir Frank secure World Expo 88, and then goes in to help Sir Lou Edwards manage it by being the general manager. An incredibly powerful intellect, and just had a really amazing role in World Expo 88, because he was the one who controlled Rick Birch, and he was the one who controlled this other fellow called John Truscott. Yeah. And both of those were really the intellect and powerhouses that drove the success of World Expo 88. So, just quite incredible. So with that, we'll cut off this particular section as we move on and getting closer to finishing the narrative this morning with my good friend Don Cameron. Thank you.
Good pleasure.